What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update, and quite a bit to get through today. A few of the with a lot of rumours going around with transfers and stuff like that. But let's start off with bits on Antonio Conte and what he wants this summer. Gary Jacob from the Times is saying that Antonio Conte would like at least 6 signings, including 3 defenders, a midfielder, and a forward to arrive before the club's tour of South Korea in July.
Optimistic.
Yeah. Conte wants to offload about 8 players as well, including Reguilon, Royale, Bergwijn, Lo Celso, and Tanguy Ndombele. The Athletic has said that Tottenham want to be ambitious this summer and give Antonio Conte the players to take the team to the next level. Spurs will be able to present a compelling package to the players if they are in the Champions League next year. A new left centre-back is the priority, with Gvardiol and Bastoni the top 2 targets in that position. What's your opinion on all this?
Look, Champions League football, I've been consistent on that. I've said it's massive for our summer plans in terms of who we can attract, the budget we're going to have. I think it's enormous, and the fact that we're on the cusp of it now, if we assume we do get it, I think that it really puts us in a different ballpark into who we can attract and who we can get. And I think hopefully we would have started drawing up. Look, Conte's been with us now since November. He knows where we need to improve. He knows what the kind of profile player he wants for his team. And I think Spurs is going to be a very attractive place to come, with Conte in charge, with world-class strikers like Kane and Son in up front, World Cup France captain in Lloris, Champions League football, beautiful stadium. There's a lot of pull there. There is a lot of pull to come to Tottenham.
Well,
London, like I think as well, the way, like, as much as we've always had a wage restrictions and stuff like that in the past. I think, with Kane being on over 200 grand a week now, we can afford to pay big wages to big players now. So there is no reason why we can't have a very good big summer, as long as we're very targeted in who we want. We go with it with precision and ruthlessness, and with Paratici's negotiating skills. Mate, the only thing that I was worried about was no Champions League football and no Conte. But if that's not going to be an issue, then why can't we have a big summer this summer? And why can't we go early? And if that's what Conte, I'm so happy that Conte wants him before the pre-season in South Korea, because that's so crucial. How many times are we leaving it late, and then these players are playing catch-up while the season's already started? It's so important to get all these players in early, or as early as possible. I'm not going to say we need all 6 before the pre-season, but you want at least 3 or 4 before pre-season, and then you get them in, getting them up to speed of how Conte wants to play, and then we're ready for the start. That's what City and Liverpool always are. They're ready for the start of the season. We're always lagging behind, having a slow start. So I think it's really, really positive, and I'm hoping that the discussions, as soon as Sunday's done, those discussions start happening.
And obviously there's no international football this summer. There's no tournament, so that's even more of a case why there's no excuses to get the signings in early, because how many times do we hear over the international tournaments, we can't sign anyone until after the World Cup, until after the Euros, stuff like that. So I think it's imperative that we do follow through on everything that's being said now. But the only thing that's going to be holding us back is Daniel Levy and the way he does his negotiation skills and penny pinches, and wants to cut $1 million off here, $1 million off there. That's the thing that's going to hold us back this summer, if something's going to hold us back this summer. And I still have my reservations about that.
Of course, we all do, but let's just make sure. I'm hoping the pressure from Conte and Paratici will be enough to make sure that we get what we need this summer, because we have got such a big opportunity this summer. I think we're in a very good position right now, strongest position we've been in a very long time. Right now under Conte, I can't remember the last time we were in such a strong position. So probably since we were in the Champions League final. So we need to make sure we make the most of it.
Completely agree. Let's move on and let's talk about some specific players now. Let's start off with Paulo Dybala once again. A lot of news coming out of Dybala, a lot of rumours coming out of, about Dybala at the moment today. Pedro Almeida says that Fabio Paratici has talked to Paulo Dybala about the possibility of joining Tottenham next season. Giovanni Albense says that Dybala keeps asking friends and colleagues for information on living in London. This does not rule out Inter Milan, but suggests he is evaluating all possibilities. Champions League football is a crucial factor for him.
Yeah, and I've always said as well that if we get Champions League, there's no reason why there isn't a possibility we can convince Dybala to come, especially on a free transfer. The wages we're going to be paying him will probably be fairly similar to what we were paying Ndombele. We have, Paratici will know him well from his time at Juventus. There'll be a relationship there. Bentancur and Kulusevski will have been played with him for a long time at Juventus as well. So they might well be good friends with him. And obviously we've got Antonio Conte, who has a massive reputation out in Italy. So Dybala would probably be very happy to play under him. So
he actually did a whole big social media post when Bentancur left Dybala, saying goodbye, I'm going to miss you.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And all that.
I think you're right. So I think there's a possibility. This makes sense. I think he fits right in the 3-4-3 or the 3-5-2, either one. I think he fits in either of those formations, however Conte wants to play. The only question, there's just two big question marks for me. One is his injury record, which is not great over the last few years. So that's definitely something you've got to take into consideration. And question number two is he's not the best in terms of... I'm not saying he doesn't work hard, but his off-the-ball ability is a lot to be desired, I think. So whether he's going to be, look, you don't start for Juventus for as long as he has.
He's a hard worker, though. I was under the impression that he is a hard worker.
I'm not saying he's not a hard worker. He's not like the best at pressing and tackling and that kind of stuff. He tries, but he's not like very effective at it. So if that's something Conte's going to have reservations about, we'll have to wait and see. Because there's one thing. At the moment we've got Kane, Son, and Kulusevski in the front three. Like Kane and Son are decent, but Kulusevski kind of does a lot of the work as well. But if you have Kane, Son, and Dybala in a free, is it going to be a case of a bit like Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe? Like obviously they're not on that level, but in terms of working hard, like they don't do the tracking back, and it hurts them. It hurt PSG. The fact that they just weren't able off the ball, they can get exposed like that. Do you really want a front three of Kane, Son, and Dybala against teams who are gonna outwork you? That could be something to be worried about, in my opinion. But he's definitely with the quality he has. You can't. I don't think you can think otherwise. Other than if we've got an opportunity to sign him, you get him in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure about that because I think Son does his work for the team in terms of tracking back and running his socks off. Kane does his work for the team as well, and I think that Dybala would do his work for the team as well, especially under Antonio Conte. So I wouldn't worry too much about that kind of stuff. I really wouldn't, because I think all three of them would work very hard.
I'm sure they'll work very hard, but they're coming up against younger and younger teams now. They're all in their late 20s.
Yeah,
it's whether they're going to be effective at it, not whether they're going to do it. I'm sure they'll do it, but it's whether they can be effective. Because back in the day when we had young Dele, Eriksson, and a young Kane, like they're much fresher, and a young Son as well. Now they're just a bit older. It's just different. Obviously, you can have ways of overcoming it, definitely. And I'm sure if we sign Dybala, they think they can do that. But it's just a question mark.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Lautaro Martinez once again. Daily Mirror saying that Tottenham could revive their interest in Lautaro Martinez this summer, with Antonio Conte keen on a reunion. Inter Milan would want bids approaching up to £70 million to sell the striker.
Would you rather Martinez for 70 or Dybala on a free?
I mean, I know what Daniel Levy would prefer. No, but I think that I'm not too sure. I think I might prefer, in terms of money aside, I think I might prefer Martinez over Dybala.
Yeah, me too. I would. I think he's less. I think he's right now, in terms of age profile and stuff, and thinking about the future. Like, let's say one day Kane moves on. You got Martinez to come in and fill that role. That wouldn't be the same case for Dybala, because Dybala's similar age to Kane, whereas Martinez has got a lot of years on him. He's like 24, isn't he? So I think as much as you're paying a premium, you're also investing in the future as much as you're investing in the right now. With Dybala's a bit more of a short-term fix, and also his injury record is a lot better.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, you'd argue Dybala probably fits our team right now in terms of what we need, a bit better than Martinez. Martinez is a bit more central. Dybala likes to can play behind the striker off the wing, which is probably more what we need in terms of adding the quality, although we have Kulusevski there now. So it's a difficult one. I don't know if it's a choice between either or. Martinez will obviously be amazing.
I can't see us bringing both in.
Yeah.
I can't see that.
I can't see it either. So it's going to be interesting to see whatever happens with those two. But I would still love Martinez through the door 100%.
Absolutely. Next up is Daisha Kamada of Eintracht Frankfurt. Obviously, he had a very good game against West Ham in the semi-final, and also a great good game in the round before, I believe, against Barcelona. But Bild are saying that Tottenham have a Kamada on their list, but a move away might be a bit unlikely. I mean, I've seen him a couple of times. I mean, I haven't seen him much, but I've seen him in this Europa League run, and he does look really creative and a really top talent.
He seems very silky, really good at dribbling, and I was very impressed with him against West Ham and the way he was. Declan Rice struggled to contain him, and he was able to walk into the box, late runs, nice little dribbling moves, and he did impress me. But obviously, that's only a very small sample size, so I can't say I definitely want him based on that. But he seems more of a ball-playing midfielder who likes to get forward more than a defensive midfielder, from what I can gather. But look, if he's one that Conte wants 100%. If they scouted him, they think he can be a big improvement for the team. He looks like a good player, but it's
like a tricky customer, doesn't he?
He doesn't seem to be the player though. He's different kind of than Jorginho or something like that.
I think he's more of a number 10 kind of player. Kamada.
Yeah, kind of. That's what I see him as.
Next up, Mark Cucarella. We have spoken about him a bit in the past couple of weeks. Albert Roche is saying that Tottenham are one of the clubs interested in Cucarella. Brighton want around £30 million for him. Does that sound like a good deal for you, Cucarella for 30 million?
I like Cucarella. I think he's a good player, and I think he's better than what we have right now. He's also been linked to Man City today. I think it was the Daily Mail linking with Man City. So I think 30 million for him. I think there are probably better players out there, but you probably have to pay more to get them. I think for 30, can you get a better player for 30 million than Cucarella? I'm not 100% sure you can.
Is he better than Reguilon?
It's difficult. I mean, they're both Spanish, aren't they? Is he Spanish?
Yeah.
You know, Reguilon has caps for Spain. I don't know if Cucarella does.
I don't think so.
So the Spanish, I think, rate Reguilon higher.
But also, Reguilon's had more kind of exposure, hasn't he? Because he's been at Seville, won the Europa League, been at Real Madrid, been at Tottenham, all in the limelight. Cucarella's been at Brighton. This is his first season at Brighton. Before that,
it was at Espanyol. Getafe.
You know what I mean? So, I mean...
He had a very good season at Getafe.
I know that, but maybe that's kind of like the levels they're looking at. I mean, if you're at Real Madrid, Seville, and Tottenham, you're more likely to get picked up than maybe if you're at Getafe and Brighton.
I think he was more of a left winger at Getafe, and he's kind of been adapted to be more of a left wing back at Brighton, whereas obviously Reguilon's always been a left back, hasn't he?
He's had one cap for Spain.
He has the one cap.
Yeah.
I think at left wing back, I think Cucarella is better. Yeah, I think at left back, I would still want Reguilon. I think as a left wing back, I think Cucarella is probably more suited to that because I think he's got more dribbling ability. I think he's better when he's entering the final third and linking the play. But I think in terms of being a left wing back, I still think Reguilon's stronger in that position. But I think Cucarella's might be more suited to our system than Reguilon.
All right, interesting one. Let's see how that one plans out over the summer. Next up is an interesting one, just breaking about John McGinn. Mike McGrath of The Telegraph is saying Antonio Conte targets John McGinn as one of 6 new Tottenham signings this summer. How do you feel about John McGinn coming to Spurs?
I like John McGinn. I think he's a good player. I think he's done well at Villa. I think he's done well in the Premier League. I think it's been difficult for him sometimes. He does a lot of the defensive, but especially when they've got a front three of Watkins, Ings, and Coutinho. They put him in the defensive midfield role. He's got a lot of work to do, doesn't he? And sometimes he gets overrun. But I think he's a bit of a pit bull in that centre. He's got a good shot on him. I think his passing, a bit like Højbjerg, when he's not rushed into his passing, can be very good. But when he is kind of rushed, he can make some mistakes in the centre. And also, I think he's a bit of a dirty player as well. He commits a lot of fouls and stuff. But he also wins the ball back a lot. I think he would be suited to the way we play. I think he is very similar to Højbjerg, actually, come to think of it, and the way they play.
Højbjerg or McGinn?
I think McGinn's probably a bit better on the ball. Højbjerg's probably a bit better off the ball, I would say. It's difficult. I think it's difficult. I think I would rather give Højbjerg more. I think Højbjerg thrives off having more responsibility in the team. But McGinn, who would I rather? I think maybe McGinn. I think maybe if you put McGinn in a better team, he would thrive a bit more than he is. And I think he's a bit more of a goal threat than Højbjerg as well. He's got a very good long-range shot on him. So I'd like to see how McGinn would do in a top 6 team. I know he was linked. I remember Sir Alex Ferguson said United advised, I think it was either Van Gaal or Mourinho to sign McGinn. Or maybe it was Ollie. He advised one of them anyway to sign McGinn when he was at the club before Villa. And obviously Villa got him, and he's done very well.
He also advised them to sign Dele Alli and David Moyes as well.
Yeah, true. So they're not yeah, maybe it's not always the best to take his advice. But I think he's a good player, and I think he would. I don't know if he would massively improve us, but he definitely adds good depth to the midfield.
All right, that's an interesting one. I think I really rate him as a player. I do think he's a really good player, but I just think that...
I think you're probably paying a premium, aren't you, for him?
I just think that in terms of our priorities, he's too similar in terms of style of play to Højbjerg. So I'd prefer to get like other targets in first before we start trying to replace him, to be honest.
He's 27, so he's
not... I think Højbjerg
like,
has had a brilliant season this year, especially second half of the season since Conte's come in. So I think I'd like to persist with Højbjerg for now.
He's actually older than Højbjerg.
He's older than Højbjerg.
By a couple of years, I think, or by a year.
I think McGinn's a good player, but I just think we got other priorities right now.
I think he's going to be difficult to get off Villa as well, because obviously Villa are going to look to improve next season. They've got Gerrard, they've got money, so there's no reason to sell. He's got another 3 years on his contract, so you're probably going to have to pay 50 million at least. Because you have to pay a premium to get them out of the club.
For that kind of money, no, not for me.
So, I can't see us paying any less, to be honest.
For that money, I wouldn't want him.
Unless they're willing to accept less because they're happy to sell him. And then in that case, I don't really want... You know what I mean?
I can't
so
see
I don't know.
I can't see it. And, there were talks about us or Arsenal taking Douglas Luiz as well last summer, so he could be in the offing. I think...
Well, no, in January we were looking at...
January, yeah. And you were quite positive about that one then.
Was I?
Yeah.
I like Douglas. I think Douglas Luiz is decent, but I think Bentancur was... I always said I wanted rather Bentancur than him, so... Yeah. It was Douglas Luiz was one I was kind of happy about if we had no one else, and he was kind of like a short-term fix, but now I wouldn't want him.
Yeah. I also, if we're going to bring in someone to replace Højbjerg, I think he needs to be much better than Højbjerg, not just slightly that again.
Yeah, fair enough.
Next up is Dele Alli, is an interesting one from the Mail, saying that Everton are looking to sell Dele Alli this summer. They want £20 million for the Englishman, who only joined from Tottenham in January. The Sun are saying that Everton want to sell Dele Alli for £20 million this summer. 25% of that fee will go to Tottenham. Obviously, when we sold him, there was all those kind of clauses that the more he plays, the more money we get. That's not panning out at all because he's not playing at all.
No.
So it looks like the best that we are going to get is this 25 million sell-on clause if they do sell him this summer.
25%, you mean?
Percent, yeah.
Yeah, no, I wish it was 25
Yeah,
million.
So do I.
I don't...
It's going to be 2 million or something.
I think it's fanciful for Everton to think they can get 20 million. And we couldn't get anything for him in January. They took a punt on him. Obviously, they got him on a free, but I'm sure they probably took on his wages. I don't think he took a wage cut. I'm assuming. I don't know. And... if we couldn't give him away, how do they think they're going to get 20 million when he hasn't played a game? Pretty much, he's barely. I don't think he started any games, has he? Not to my knowledge. Maybe one game.
I think he started one game.
One game. He's been restricted to 5-minute cameos at the end of games. He hasn't made an impact whatsoever. Clearly, Lampard doesn't trust him.
And that's why he moved there to play under Lampard.
Yeah,
because he thought that. Young English, same kind of role as Lampard can get the best out of it.
And considering recently Van den Beek's been injured, hasn't he, for a while, and still Ali can't get in the team. They've been playing Richarlison up front, like they can't fit him in at all.
I know.
So how do they expect for someone to take a punt of 20 million on him? I don't know.
How has it gone so wrong for him?
Gone very bad.
I'm just still so baffled to see how it's gone so wrong for him because he's still at such a young age. And it feels like right now, his career is nearly over.
I know, it's unbelievable. Like, he could be retiring at 28 or something, you know what I mean? It's like...
What's next for him, though?
I don't know.
Where does he go? What does he do?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he needs to get out of the Premier League or something, because at the moment it's just not working for him. He's moved to Everton, who are in a relegation battle, and they still don't want to use him.
It's sad to see.
It is very sad, considering how the highest he was at. It's very sad.
He gave a lot to this football club for those years that he was at when he was performing at his best, and I kind of think like if he would have gone to PSG and played under Poch at that time where it was talked about, maybe that could have sparked something in him. But I don't even think Pochettino would take him back now.
Did you see he was on the North London derby? He was still tweeting about Tottenham with heart emojis about when Kane scored. So he's still backing us, which I appreciate. He's still a Spurs boy.
I still back him. I mean, I love the guy. I really do. And I wish him all the best. And I hope he does kickstart his career somewhere else or even at Everton. But it's not looking likely at the moment.
At the moment, yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's a case of promoted clubs taking a punt on him or something. But I can't. Who's going to take the wages? Everton obviously
he's going to have to
afford it.
Wages.
Yeah, he's on what? Probably because he signed a big contract, didn't he? Not just before he left, but a couple of years before he left.
He should go to Fulham. You know, coming up from the Premier League, play attacking football, go link up with Mitrovic or something up front. You know, something like that. I think that. I mean, it's just.
I'd love to see it, a bit like Eriksen now. I would love to see Dele get back to his best. I'd love to see Dele get back to his best somewhere.
I really would. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Gareth Bale again. Jonathan Barnett was talking the other day, obviously his agent, and he says Gareth Bale will leave Real Madrid this summer and that his return to English football is likely. Where do you think he's going? Because I can't see him coming here.
Obviously, he's going to want somewhere for the World Cup, isn't he? If Wales get there, that is. He's going to want to be ready for that. I don't think he's come to Tottenham, to be honest. Barnett said that his next move will not be money motivated, he said, which is interesting. Maybe that indicates that he's willing to take a wage cut.
Maybe he will go to somewhere like Cardiff.
Maybe. I don't know if he wants. Does he want to be playing in the Championship? I don't know. I mean, if he is willing to take a wage cut, there must be a Premier League team willing to take a punt on him. I would think so. Yeah, I don't think at $500,000 a week they will, but whatever he's on.
I think like if he's willing to go as low. I mean, crazy to say this is low, but you know. Between 100, 150, maybe below 100. If he can go to that, I think most clubs in the Premier League would probably take a punt on him.
Yeah, I think so. I think like he would, even at a top club like I don't think United, because they want to refresh, but even if like he was signing, I don't think he will, but even if like City signed him, I reckon he'd be a really good squad player for them. But I don't think it will happen. I don't know where he goes. Maybe
good squad player for us. Like obviously not starting role, but him coming off the bench in the last 20 minutes when we need to like break down a low block or something like that. I think it'd be brilliant.
With with full crowds as well behind him. I just think he's 33 now. 30, maybe 30. He's coming 34 soon. I don't know. I just don't think it happens. I don't think Conte will want him.
No, and especially with those words that Joe Hart said about him in training. I mean, I just can't see that working under Conte.
Yeah, he needs a club who will let him dilly-dally. Basically, he needs a club where he's going to be the best player. Basically,
West Ham.
Maybe West Ham I could see working. He needs a club where, a bit like when we had Ledley, where we just said like you don't have to train, just turn up and be the best player. He needs a club like that where like he's so clearly the best player in their front line, where they'll just let him like do what he needs to do to be fit, and then do the work around him to allow him to shine. I don't think that Spurs was that club.
Yeah, I think like teams around the West Ham, Leicester, kind of vibe.
Yeah,
maybe even Everton if they stay up.
Yeah, something like Newcastle. I don't know if Newcastle's.
I actually think Newcastle would take a punt on him. You know, I really do.
Maybe Newcastle's not a bad shout. Newcastle,
but somewhere around that, anywhere below the top 6 or 7, I think.
Yeah,
the top 6. Let's move on. Let's talk about Jermaine Defoe. He was on the pitch at White Hart Lane last game of the season at halftime with his interview with Paul Coyte. The Evening Standard are reporting that Jermaine Defoe has revealed that he's been in conversation with the Tottenham about potentially becoming a coach in the academy, which is nice to hear.
Yeah, and he always speaks quite well. Whenever I see him do punditry on Sky Sports, he always speaks very much as if he's like a coach speaking, and I like that about him. And he's always very much as a striker. He's always looking to how strikers can improve and stuff when he's talking about them, what they need to be doing wrong and right. And obviously, he was a very good striker in his day, and I think he'd be a great coach and for the young Tottenham players. So definitely be happy to bring him on.
Absolutely, and it'll be great to have him back at the club, that's for sure. There was just one I missed out from before. It's on Martin Terrier. This is from Foot Mercato, and they're saying Tottenham are targeting Rennes forward Martin Terrier and have made an offer to the Frenchman. Obviously, well, not obviously, but he's been playing for Rennes this season, and he's actually had quite a successful season this year. 36 appearances, 21 goals in Ligue 1. What do you make out of him? Have you seen any of him or anything like that?
I've heard. I mean, I don't watch too much of Rennes. Obviously, I remember he played against us earlier in the season in the 2-2. I've heard he's been having a brilliant season, and he's 24 years of age, having a bit of a breakout season this season for him.
At 25 years of age, yeah.
Yeah, 20. Well, you know, players sometimes they break out at different times, and that's fair play to him. And obviously he plays on the right, isn't he? He's a winger, or attacking midfielder.
I think he plays a bit off the left, but
He's off the left.
I'm not sure about it. I'll check.
But I don't know. I've just heard about him a lot. I don't know about too much about his style of play or not. But I've heard a lot about how well he's doing this season.
Yeah, it says left winger.
So off the left.
Yeah. He's played all three roles, off the right, in the middle, and on the left.
What's his contract saying?
Predominantly on the left. His contract's till 2025.
He's got 3 years left. So I don't know. Maybe it's one that we look at. Potentially, we do need more depth, don't we? If we're selling Bergwijn and Lucas.
Have we not had enough of these left wingers from the
French League? Never enough.
In Kudu and G, now Terrier.
Never enough.
All right. Well, and actually, his market value here on Transmarket is 14.5 million. So a gettable price, that's for sure. But anyway, that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we've brought to you today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.